Друзья, привет! Я рада видеть вас снова сегодня, но в новом антураже.
Hello, dear friends. I'm glad to see you.
И сегодня
This is my first studio presentation, and today I'm going to have a very interesting topic. We are not going to speak about cybersecurity and not even about IT. We are going to speak about
про киберспорт,
digitalization, cyber sports, game dev, and maybe even about this. And my guest is Polina Gladilina. Hello, Polina. Hello, Polina is the head of video gaming projects
Полин, давай начнем с самого начала.
in the games of the future. Okay, let's begin from the very beginning. The games of the future. What is this? Oh, games of the future is a tour of a new generation. I'm not afraid of this statement. And the most important tour will happen in the year 2024 in Kazan. But even today, even day after tomorrow, we are going to be broadcasting our second test games. Can I watch it? Where should I look at? Should I come to our group, the Games of the Future? Is it in Kontakte? Yes, the Games of the Future, directly, Games of the Future. And you will be able to see the direct broadcasting of our second games. The first games were in September. In September, we've been testing our sports challenges, digital football, when our sportsmen were playing simultaneously, consecutively. They've been playing in cyber sport part where they've been using simulators one against another, and then same guys with the same teams, they went to the field and they've been playing 3 against 3 basketball, 5 against 5 football, mini football. I mean, real physical sport. But what is the main idea? Why do you combine two stages? Well, the main idea is that to combine physical activity with digital activity. And today we all live in a digital world. We all have smartphones. We all have small world in this smartphone. We all play games, these or other ways. Some other people just pop the bubbles. Some other play more serious games. Some people are like real cyber sportsmen, play and follow the cyber sports, cyber tours, mobs or shooters or whatever, and possibly some become even cyber sportsmen who travel to these different tours. However, at the same time, it is very important not to forget that there is also a physical world and physical sports, and one of our missions is to develop the harmony and well-balanced human being so that people wouldn't just play in computer games, but they would also add some physical activity. And that's why we came with the concept of phygital sport, phygital games and games of the future. As a culmination of this movement in the year 2024 in Kazan, we're going to have a big tour. And we expect that there will be more than 2,000 sportsmen. It's going to be 9 days of competitions, 16 different disciplines. Disciplines will be united in different challenges. It's going to be a sports discipline that I've been speaking about, like phygital football, phygital hockey, phygital basketball. And day after tomorrow, you will be able to look at phygital races where they've been ride in carts around the polygon, and then they will play digital racing game. And of course, Saturday, you'll be able to look at MMA. It's going to be MMA fighters who will be on a real ring fighting against each other, and the same way they will play Mortal Kombat and will collect their digital points. And on the summary points, there will be a result achieved. So the sportsmen that will be selected by you, they initially will participate in 2 parts. Those who really are involved in real sports and those who pull the cyber games. Well, honestly speaking, our audience, if we're speaking about sport challenges, our audience of sportsmen usually are professional sportsmen who want to become professional, semi-professional sportsmen, and most of them, or maybe all of them, they work with simulators and they improve some of their skills there. So we decided to put it in a team achievement level and make a full-scale show out of this and show how cool this can be. But there's another, or even 2 other branches of these competitions. There are 16 disciplines that I've mentioned. They are not limited by sports type of games. There's also toxical challenges when guys are playing CSGO or Dota, things that you see in big cyber sports events, things that you see in majors or international. So it's a show. It's a show. And same teams are going to the field and playing laser tag. So we combine physical activities with digital activities, and the final stream is a technical assistant challenge when people have their own complicated technical devices, the races of drones, fights of robots, there will be some other disciplines. What if the usage of some elements like exoskeletons and things like that, is it going to be happening with you as well? Yeah, it's technical assisted challenge. And this is where we have this preparation type of a part when people at home create those things. So they have to make this mechanism themselves, or maybe assemble it, or at least prepare it. So you are responsible for what you do. You remember this movie with Hugh Jackman? I don't remember what it was called. It was about controlling, fighting, boxing robots. The boxer who puts a robot instead of himself on the screen. I think Hugh Jackman was playing there. Yeah, I remember what movie you're speaking about. So I think that's the end result which you want to come to when a person just controls a certain device, some technical representation of himself. Well, in September, we already had drone races. In one day, we have rebuilt the sports field and racing track. These were different teams. For example, we had sportsmen from Bulgaria. We had international tour. And they had an objective. There were two of them. One is a pilot, the second one is a technician who provides the assistance to them, and they launched drones. And the drone should fly 100 circles around the racing field. Then, by flying these 100 circles, they replace each other. And then we add the element of physical activity, because to overcome half of this field and replace the drone, the pilot and technician, this is also costly. But do they evaluate the work of the drone itself? Yes. Well, when you bring a drone, it should be operational, it should be well operational. For example, we had cases when, those guys, when they missed or omitted the obstacle and like battery have been broken, it's a loss of the drone before the end of the competition. You cannot take this drone from the position. But getting in a trajectory, do you reduce the points? Of course, for the still, because trajectory is very complicated and there's a lot of obstacles and other things where the pilot can lose the concentration, get distracted, and at the moment when you hit another drone, this is my favorite moment, when they hit each other. How do you follow the history? For example, if we would speak about a regular sport, I would say it's doping, but in a given case, it's a technological doping. The story about the drone is very close to us because 6 months ago, our standoff was happening within Positive Hack Days. It's a very big cybersecurity forum, and several years ago, we have organized the contest about drone break-in. You had to hack a drone. And I do understand that during a certain level of technical readiness, somebody can remotely influence your drones, and the sportsman will not be able to do anything about it. So roughly speaking, one can interfere with this technology from outside and influence the results of the games. What do you do about that? And how do you control the situation? Of course, it's going to be maximum interesting. We do attract specialists who help us to improve our cybersecurity in this connection. And if just something like that will happen, it's relaunch of the event or like a circle. Some actions are taken. We carefully follow things like that. And we have rules and regulations, what is to be done in these situations. And we as organizers, we make emphasis on providing maximum security for our sportsmen so that we wouldn't have cases like that. Can you go back to the initial idea? When we speak about sports, about Olympics, about, ancient Greeks, this is about the victory of himself and over the circumstances around him. So this is about the strength, about the physical greatness. But when we come to digitalization and we mixed human and technology, what do we evaluate here?
вот этим вот великолепным, ради чего надо
What
участвовать
is this something wonderful for which you have to participate in these games? What should be proven to whom? Well, the sports component is not cancelled here. It's understandable from the Olympics point of view. But speaking about the cyber sport, it's the speed, dexterity, tactics, strategy, precise calculation of which direction you should move, which treats you should apply.
В смысле заклинания?
If necessary, yes. Well, we're speaking about the game.
Все, я поняла.
We're speaking about the games, and this is something, the skills that are achieved through the practicing, like in a practical sport. If you never played Dota 2 or CSGO, it is not going to work, and maybe you will get some results, but no effect and availability. But what gives you the view when you follow the football, when you like the team, you see people, you see the field, you see beautiful 18 or how many men that's Hotabic can drop the balls upon, and you understand what you are watching, the show somehow. But when you do, how does it look like? When should I dive? In which meta universe should I dive? What can I do? Should I have my own phantom? When you go to the stadium where the games are happening, you will see big screens. You will see everything that happens on the computers of the people, the athletes which came. There will be a big broadcast team which selects the best moments and shows them, like in the classical sport, some replays, some painful moments, the same thing with the brightest victories, emotions of people that can also be shown. So this is also, I think that it's even more of a show, because in the beginning it's like based on technologies. If classical sport, there is a sport, and then it's visualization, representation, and how beautiful it is to watch it being broadcast. But when we speak about the cyber sport in a direct, it's much more interesting to watch it, the cyber sport. Can you tell me about the technologies and what really happens under the hood? Yes, I understand everything about the sportsman. Hands, muscles, gym. Maybe they have a lot of pills, maybe not a lot of pills. But what happens inside of digital games from the point of view of technologies? What is this? From the point of view of classical sport, it's all the same. Hands, feet, muscles, pills. Well, we do follow. We do have anti-doping commission as well. There are no questions like in the classical sport. But if we're speaking about cyber sport, from the side of developers of the games, anti-cheat committee is present. They cannot use cheats. They all are in equal conditions. Well played. So everything is based on your skills, on how do you understand what is to be done, how you should do, when you should do it. So this is real strategy. And the development of the sports universe is in your hands. And a gamer comes to you. What do you mean by the sports universe? Well, I'm trying to formulate the question, but maybe I'm not too good in formulating. For example, let's play. We're playing football. So you played football physically, you kick the ball, and then you went playing digital football. So in order to play digital football, me as a sportsman, I shouldn't develop some super technology of kicking the ball or controlling it. Yeah, getting some technologies which games give to you. Speaking about the football, the FIFA is getting connected to you. the well-known football simulator today. You get in a chair and you play the same thing. Well, it's also the speed of your hands, dexterity. You sit with the joystick, you know how to control it, you know how to switch it on. But you know how this dexterity with joystick is combined with football, physical football, legs and head is working there. But in this case, hands and your head. Yes, yes. Here's a harmony, human development. You are not just running and kicking the ball, but you are also switch on your head, understanding which kicks will be the better kicks for you. Do you play for yourself or for Ronaldo? Well, it depends. You choose. Speaking about football, speaking about digital part of it, yes, of course, there are options. Who can you choose? And small avatars. Do you have any unique developments? Do you have something? For example, you made an example of football simulator, but it's been used. There's no know-hows about it. Maybe you've upgraded it somehow. Maybe you've invented something unique for your games. Maybe AI inside of it helps people, some referee, digital referee. Of course, we do have a certain stream about development of video products and video games, but you have to understand that this is not a fast process. If you're speaking about the games of the year 2024, then introduction of these developments will be on such a stage. It's going to be very complicated, and we are going to come to the testing, because big games, large games, which we can control. It's not match 3 or not farm in your mobile phone. Oh, I really love farms, and I love things like that. But we're speaking about big product, which is used for the cyber competition, and development of this game can take 5, 7, 8 years. So you are developing something. Are you? It's a secret. It's a secret. Okay, good. Can you tell me, please, how this bright direction about digitalization of sport, is it popular? Is it a fresh movement? What is it? Why did you get inside of it? Well, it's a pretty old movement. It's not some fresh development, but there were assumptions for it. Well, these pandemics in the year 2020, we had so many online exercises. All gyms have moved home. And there was a coach that was showing some exercise to you. This is an example of digitalization of sport. The same thing about sportsmen. Some things, well, it's interesting. They live with football. They love football. Basketballists, they play basketball. And it's very interesting for them to play in those simulators. They play simulators, basketball, football simulators, and very few sportsmen never used simulators, only a few of them. But speaking about rating, they use simulators when they practice a lot of different maneuvers. Don't you think that this is a backdoor for those sportsmen who are not strong enough in real sports life? For example, you cannot push 100 kilograms in a gym, but in a simulator you can do something, you know, dexterity of your fingers, and that's it. You cannot get and hit the ball, but in a simulator you're not hitting with your feet but with your fingers, and it looks as if the achievement of the sport is brought down to a lower level. Don't you have a feeling like that? No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. I think out of those experiments that we already have conducted, you know, you have to be a good sportsman to go to the field and fight with the team. So you have to grow from cyber sports. Well, it's very difficult to do just in the cyber sport. You should have good physical fitness, but the story that we can make it as a good view, you know, attract big audience, to make a show out of it and show people what is available here, and maybe show to the people that in order to become professional sportsmen, you don't have to constantly spend most of your time in the field or in the gym. This is also a moment for young generation, it is very difficult. You have to dedicate all your life to the sports, right? Right, it's like a religion. It's the choice of your life, practically, for the sportsman. And by the way, this is the basis for respect. And out there, you sit behind the computer. And these sports will not disappear. So we combine them as sportsmen who truthfully have dedicated many years to sport. And at the same time, we add that part which can equalize and balance in certain moments. So you make an approximation of real semi-god sportsmen to those people who can play a simulator. Is that right? Well, we open digital centers, like in Kemerovo in September, we have opened our first digital center. It's the place where kids can come, they can dive in this atmosphere, they can try to play this on computers, and at the same time they can run around the field. Moreover, it's very interesting to share the results. And all these results, the hours that you spend behind the computer, they are helping you so that you're generating your general points gets more and more points. So you're not thinking like, oh, maybe I could go to the gym, but I've spent the whole day behind the computer, or vice versa. I've been running around the street whole day long for the development of my own soft skills, for example. And this is a proven fact that games develop soft skills, where else 20-year-old kid can do the raid and go to a mission and become the head of the mission. And a lot of communication soft skills, development of English language is being facilitated by the games, and it improves it. And other stories went from digital sport, people went to real physical sport. For example, you've been speaking about physical center in Kemerovo, and it came to my head, is it possible, can it be used as a trampoline and popularization of the healthy lifestyle and sporty sports nation and sports young kids? You know, they can go from the side of the cyber sports. For example, you play cyber football and then you went to play real football. For example, you've been playing to MMA in digital form, and then you decide, okay, let me go and just do something physically. Did you see stories like that? Or maybe this is not real yet? Well, if you will start with this and if you will approach this very seriously, of course, everything is possible. But of course, it's much more difficult because, you know, good physical form cannot be cancelled. You have to pump it, and it takes much longer since the childhood in order to become MMA player. Well, I will not be able to become MMA wrestler. No, you will not be able to become MMA wrestler. Maybe I will become a good athlete in Mortal Kombat. It's, you know, good combinations are available, and you can be well-balanced person. Well, advanced in both parts, digital and physical. So, you've been speaking a lot about double-sidedness of this problem, about equilibrium. You've been telling us about regular sport and its combination with the cyber sports. However, life very often is not as diplomatic. So this or other way, most likely, I think there will be a choice towards one of the directions. So what do you think? Who's going to win, sportsman or cyber sportsman? Sport or cyber sports? Regular sport and cyber sport, they have their own tours, they have their own competitions, and not when they're fighting with each other. I mean, more global thing. Will there be an end to regular sport and we're going to have only digital sport or not? No. Right now, there's a global trend in the direction of pulling people out of pure digital. The trend for the development of the healthy lifestyle, exercises, and we see in some of our examples, an example of sportsmen that classical cyber sport is being augmented by a lot of physical practices, exercises. Even if this is a format of basic morning exercise, you know, a lot of attention is paid to this. And generally speaking, cyber sports schools, which are being developed right now, they do spend a lot of time to practice physical exercises. Can you imagine that You're a cyber sportsman. You came to the exercise. I don't understand why should I go to any competition. I can do it out of home. Well, the competition to the finals, to major games somewhere in Brazil or Singapore, the recent events happened there. So, and then there's a story. You are sitting in a chair in front of a computer and you have this tour, best of 5. So at least you will play 3 games, maximum 5 games, and each game can take 1.5 hours. While you have well-trained hand and also the back, which should be able to withstand of this, and your neck, in order just to physically hold these loads, you will need some activity, physical activity I'm speaking about. And in our physical movement, we are helping and we're looking for those notions and for types of sports which are going to augment each other, because guys, they need motivation to do this. It's not enough just to play the computer game, but you can do the same thing in reality. Same thing with some additional equipment. For example, we can speak about some shooter, like you're playing on your computer, but then you come out, you take this laser tag shotgun, and then you run around the field, same mechanics, and you do the same thing looking at each other. I think this is very interesting, and you can also compete with yourself, me physical and me digital. Who's better? Well, I think that's another good idea, but you shouldn't put yourself in a corner of becoming best everywhere, and you should find a balance for yourself. And don't complain against yourself if something doesn't work. Well, in my studio, I had a person, balanced person, well-balanced person. This is a key word of our broadcasting. It was Polina Gladilina, who is the head of video projects in the Games of the Future. Polina, 10 seconds. Can you remind me, please, and our viewers, where should they go tomorrow and day after tomorrow and in December? Where should they get connected to, and who should they become fans to? A new type of Olympic Games, 24th, 25th, and 26th of November, the end of this week, we're going to have competition, digital races, and MMA. You can watch it in Vkontakte group Game of the Future. There will be a direct broadcast, and the broadcasting link will be available. Then you will be able to look at it in recording. But if you're in Kazan, you can come directly to the field and you will see how it looks live. 10th and 11th of December, we're going to have digital hockey in Kazan City. You may come to Kazan and you'll be able to look how it will look alive in real life. And the culmination of our games, the Games of the Future 2024, will be in Kazan in the year 2024 in March. And we will represent all 16 disciplines. You will be able to watch them, to become a fan of them. You will be able to look at the event as a fan, and you can look them online. How will this happen? We are going to make a beautiful show, wow effect show. I don't know about you, but I'm leaving this studio, I'm running to Kazan. Kazan tickets are not expensive, and we'll be able to go to the nearest digital games.